We are 3 weeks into living in our newly built tiny home, and after venturing all the way up to the Scottish Highlands, we thought that we'd have the biggest garden in the world. But the British weather had other plans, and what the British weather wants, the British weather gets. The storms are coming. We did have plans to go and explore the Great British countryside, specifically Wales, right?
Yeah.
But we were going to go hiking, and with the weather that's coming, there's absolutely no way that we can do that. There's actually going to be flood warnings all across the UK, and the best thing we can do to try to minimise our time stuck in the van in the rain is to try to drive through it as quick as possible and get out the other side to the sunshine.
Yes, even though we promised ourselves that we weren't going to drive in the rain because it's dangerous.
Yeah, but that was before we came to the UK.
Yeah.
If you're making outdoor plans over the coming days, it is worth staying in touch with the weather forecast because things look very unsettled and at times very uncertain through the week ahead. But one thing we do know is that the jet stream at the moment is diving its way southwards, and in this dip in the jet stream here, well, we've spun up an area of low pressure, quite a deep low actually for the time of year. It is heading in our direction to bring some heavy rain and some unseasonably strong winds. Could well have an impact on some outdoor activities, but those temperatures just 12 to 19 degrees.
It's been raining every single day that we've been in the UK for the last like 3 weeks. I know it rains sometimes in the UK, but this is particularly bad, and it is affecting what we can do. It seems a shame to drive past all these awesome places, but we've got to keep driving till we get out of this, find some sunshine. I am British, so moaning about the weather is my birthright. If we had to drive all the way to Africa to find the sun, we would. But luckily for us, we didn't have to go that far. Finally, some sunshine. Finally, there is sunshine in the UK, and it just so happens to be on the south coast. I think Bristol is a few miles that way, so we're heading on down towards southwest England. Hopefully you get to explore some of the coastline, see a little bit of summer, because I know it exists in the UK, being a Brit myself. Boomerang is handling the road like a champ. He's done a lot of miles, but he's just tearing it up and ready for more. So yeah, eager to see what the rest of England has in store for us, and hopefully go and see some of those beautiful British country pubs. Yes, please. What are you making?
Just using up the leftover food that we have, so it's a bit of, I guess it's a hash, potato, sweet potato, bit of egg.
Unfortunately, that good weather didn't last. It is raining again, a storm has come in. There is flood warnings across the UK, and up north the weather's good though, where we've just come from. But down south it's terrible, which is a real shame because there's beautiful beaches and coastline to explore, and this just really is not the weather for it, and certainly not the weather for filming it. So I guess we're going to have to do some things indoors.
Our tiny home is probably smaller than yours. For that matter, it's probably smaller than most people's. Being stuck inside when we're here to explore the outdoors isn't that fun. But when it's blowing outside, we snuggle down in the Kombi and catch up on our tiny home chores. When it's this wet outside, the condensation is at its worst. We wake up this morning and the windows are just soaking wet. Even the walls are dripping wet. Even with the fan open and the two high top windows open, it still didn't help at all with the condensation. It's just, this is at its worst at the moment. We use a microfiber cloth to just soak up all the moisture on the windows, and it dries really quickly, so it will be dry just in time for tomorrow morning when it will happen again and we'll have to clean it up again.
Quite a luscious seat. Wet dog. You'll dry out in a minute, Skeets. You can have your seat back.
After a couple of days working and waiting out the weather on this cliff top, we decided to head to the West Country, the county of Cornwall. Oh, it's big.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Holy shit!
Whoa! It was a big cow.
Look at these cows. I've never seen cows like this before. They're like painted, striped cows. I've seen spotted cows, but never striped. Believe it or not, this is summertime, and it's not untypical for Britain. The rain comes and goes frequently here, and it's what gives us our world-famous green countryside. The trick to enjoying Britain is making the most of the good weather when it does come.
That was a really nice surprise from Rich this morning. We were slept overnight in the middle of nowhere we are.
Middle of the English countryside.
Yeah, middle of nowhere, and he just parks next to us and he's like, Leah, Alaska? And he's like, I was not expecting to see you here. He just randomly went to this car park to, I don't know, he was trying to look for something, and then he saw the bus.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Honestly, you don't believe how nice it is to meet you.
Yeah, Annie helped us out a little bit when we had a broken Jubilee clip. Thanks for that, Rich. We appreciate your mechanical assistance.
Yeah, it was such a lovely random surprise for both of us, for him and for us. So that was nice this morning. And now today we're going to explore the countryside of England.
And get a cup of nice British tea.
Yes.
Cream tea, I think.
British tea.
One of the things I love most about this part of the UK is these twisty country lanes. Like the hedges are so high, they're like 10 feet high either side, and then you get the trees running over the top as well, so you end up driving through basically a tree tunnel all the way through. There are actually 2 lanes, but you can only really fit 1 car down there, so there's a lot of courteous driving, just as there is where I'm from, in Jersey. And also the speed limit here, I think, is 60 miles an hour on some of these roads, which is just insane. Fortunately, I haven't come across anybody trying to drive to the speed limit, because you would not want to do that. There's a lot of blind turns, but it's so fun poking the Kombi down these little lanes and exploring and just seeing what we can find at the bottom of them. Growing up in Britain, it's easy for me to take for granted the depth of English culture and history. But there is a noticeable difference between the USA, where we started, and Australia, where we're headed. These buildings, for example, were built 300 years before either of those countries were founded. There is, of course, one part of British culture that I could never take for granted.
I think we're in the right place.
Tea, obviously. Obviously, being British, you need to have a dash of milk, otherwise it's just not tea, is it? That's a pretty good cup of tea.
Cream tea is famous in Cornwall. A cream tea is basically English tea with a scone and some nice jam and some cream, fresh cream. It's really yummy. It's one of my favourite things to eat with tea. Yum, 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 yum. So good.
3 yums. You deserve that, Alaska, after so many rainy days in the Kombi. She's a good girl.
Cream tea is a fancy delicacy of Cornwall. The workmen also have their own famous treat. Of course, it's the Cornish pasty.
Pasty.
The Cornish pasty.
You've got to say it right, babes.
Pasty, pasty.
Yummy. So in a Cornish pasty you have ground beef, carrots, potato and swede, which is called turnip in Cornwall. And a bunch of spices, a bit of salt and pepper, and it's delicious, and it's like the workman's snack. And we've been working all day, so working up an appetite anyway. Cheesy! Side note, we're like basically stood in something which is hundreds and hundreds of years old. This old ruin here. And there's a main road running right by it, but we're having a Cornish pasty. Ooh.
That's what we love about England, is how old every single town we've been in, it's just ancient, isn't it?
Can't talk. Eating. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Undeniably, one of my favourite things about being home in Britain is having so many charismatic pubs to choose from. Ho 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 ho, chica, suerte. Vamos. Limited headroom. seriously, nowhere on the planet does pubs like England. Fine?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Love it! It's a really cute pub.
Best pub you've ever been in?
It's one of the best beer gardens, definitely, with a stream, and yeah, the old building's gorgeous. I think this is probably the oldest pub I've ever been in.
So my name's Julian, welcome to the Bears Lake Inn. One of the oldest pubs in the area. The main part of it is 13th century with 16th century additions, and it's a traditional Devon longhouse. So yeah, it's got a lot of history,
Unfortunately, pub culture is in decline in recent years, partly because the Netflix generation has more entertainment options at home and there's less motivation to go to your nearest public house to be social. But as some pubs are closing their doors, others are turning their historic buildings into thriving gastropubs and are helping to boost the surrounding local communities.
What we've been able to do here since taking over 14 months ago is to use a lot more local provenance in terms of the food and produce that we source. So all of the fish is caught locally in Brixham on the South Devon coast. All of our meat comes from a local butcher's in Tavistock. All of our cheeses come from a local cheese merchant, and they only use cheese producers within the southwest of England, Devon, Cornwall and so on and so forth.
I totally understand why people sometimes opt to stay at home with on-demand conveniences. But I, for one, hope that places like the Bears Lake Inn will remain open, serving and supporting their local communities for many generations to come.
The south coast of the UK is the sunniest, and lo and behold, true to form, the sun did make an appearance.
And again, we're on the search for British delicacies. Is delicacies too strong of a word? Nice to finally have a bit of sunshine on the coast. Gotta have some fish and chips, nation's favourite, obviously. Let's have a look at this. Oh, that looks healthy. It's not supposed to be healthy, it's supposed to be delicious. Not bad. A lot of people asked during the build when my mum served me fish and chips, what the heck was that green stuff? Well, it wasn't guacamole.
What I find weird about the fish and chips here in England is that they serve it with mushy peas. What? I don't understand. Maybe it's because they feel like they need to be a bit healthy and like add some greens in there. I don't know, vegetables.
It's one of your 5 a days, that is. You good?
I don't know if it goes with fish and chips, but it's good.
Of course it goes with fish and chips. What's she talking about? I haven't eaten cod for years because it's been kind of overfished. So I just stopped eating it completely and had haddock instead. But apparently this one was ethically sourced, so nice to have a bit of cod again. Proper fish and chips.
Next up on our long drive to Australia, we have a very, very special friend to see.
No way.
Someone we haven't seen in a long time. And at one point, we thought we might never see again. But that is a story for next time.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. This is usually the point in the video where I'd be saying all the amazing benefits you get for joining the Kombi crew and being a member of this channel, but today, guys, I just really wanted to say thank you. Thank you for those of you that tune in every single Thursday to join us on this adventure, and those of you that give this video a thumbs up before you've even watched it. We know you're out there, we appreciate you sharing the adventure with us, and honestly, doing this would not be the same without you. So thank you. We'll see you next Thursday.